Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.
Well, hello, and welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. And tonight we're doing some live reviews of two really neat Southern whiskeys, ones I've been holding on to that were locked away in a box for goddamn ever, but I found it. Catoctin Creek's Ragnarok Rye, lovely collaboration with Gwar, and we have just a titch for everybody. Because you know what I liked about them? When they were handing stuff out there, like, no big bottles to anyone. I don't care what show it is, you get, that's it. Deal with it. And I was like, I like your style. I respect that. Just like, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Do you want it? Yes, I do.
They have style, that's for sure.
They do have style. And the second one from the south is ASW's Tire Fire Single Malt. They are out of Atlanta, I think North Atlanta. I think is where it's actually located. But they have been doing some tremendous stuff over the past couple of years. That Maris Otter, that was in my Whiskey of the Year categories, I think 2 years ago. They had, and other things we've had have all been pretty damn exciting, and I'm excited about this one too, but I think we do the Ragnarok Rye first.
I think that would be a wise choice.
Yeah. Wise choice. Before we go any further,
I'm very familiar with the ASW, so that's what I'm going to say. You would think by name alone the Gwar would be going after your throat and your palate. No.
Tire Fire, I think, speaks for itself.
Yes.
Well, you're the best in the business, Mike. What do we do right now?
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and find out when new episodes are coming out. Comment and interact with the nice people in the chat if you're watching us live on Monday night. If you're watching us after the fact, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you can, and leave a comment down below on the YouTube videos or on Facebook if Facebook is working.
Ooh, if it is, I fixed it.
Sometimes it quits.
That's true. That is true. It's meta, so that's the problem. All right, so let's get moving into this. Oh, Dave's in Atlanta International Airport, coming back from Key West. Sorry you're stuck there, but we are drinking from the south. We'll get to that one later.
And it is Atlanta Airport, so he could be there for an hour or 4 days.
He could be. It sounded like the 4-day type earlier.
That would be Atlanta.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Now, with obviously the Gwar collaboration, the interesting thing with this one is that it's new charred white oak, and then actually finished in sugar maple and cherry wood to produce the flavor on this one. Sorry.
I've got. So if anyone's got time, go watch videos of Gwar doing their stuff with Scott and stuff. Scott and Becky have a really good sense of humor of doing with these guys, but they've really embraced the fun part of it with this. I'd say more, precise as their other whiskeys are. They're having a lot of fun with this one, but I gotta read from their website, which I just think is just so stinking funny. Is on their website, the description says the mad scientists at Catoctin Creek conducted experiments on aging the blood of Gwar in barrels made from the different types of wood scorched by the comet's blast. They used the rarest of grains and watered their mash bill with the melted Antarctic ice to create 92 strength rye whiskey, pot stilled and then aged in new charred white oak. Members of Gwar then hurled the whiskey barrels into the orbit of the moon, causing contraction to take place as the barrels spun under the influence of the deathly coldness of space and the life-giving heat of the sun. The end result was Ragnarok Rye, an exquisite beverage graced with notes of cherry wood and sugar maple to produce subtle flavors unheard of in a traditional rye whiskey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I think between that and the stuff at Glenn's Creek, that Admiral whoever.
Admiral Sukit.
And like, there's a whole other award show for like.
There should be, yeah.
The marketing
writing.
Stories, yeah.
This fantastic intro stories.
I did, and watching there because I went back and I the last couple of weeks I rewatched the it was a clip from Fred Minnick, and it had Gwar on distillery site at Catoctin Creek, and just them feeding Fred shit. It was, they said something. Fred said something to one of them, and I think it was Balzac, and he said, "This is the second worst thing I've ever had in my mouth, Fred," or something like that. and Fred's just like, okay. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
anyway.
they had free reign kind of at the distillery when they were there. I know when they had the forklift, they were like,
"Oh yeah,
I was so much concerned. I was nervous."
they had a lot of fun there.
All right, but Ben, what are you getting on the nose?
I get a big hit of cherry coming off. It's kind of layered with the notes of rye, but just right off the bat, that earthy rye that I'm familiar with from Catoctin Creek, and then you get that big hit of cherry. It smells delicious.
But the cherry's not a bold, offensive cherry like this is artificial. It's just very much like this is
right.
It's part of it.
I don't know if I'm not getting it as bold. Like, I get it in there. I think the thing is Mike's thing. It's just it's not heavy. It's not a syrupy note. It's not overly rich. It's blended well. No edges.
And this is so the bottle, because you can't find this, but they made these really sweet toppers. Screw
right.
Blanton's. Go after these. Screw Blanton's for many reasons. But these bottles, the bottles are cool. The way the artwork and stuff, and these toppers are they're cast, I believe, and it's each of the characters. That's badass. But
that's something you want to collect 5 of. Get
hell
them.
Yes.
And this is the first release. I know they did have a second release already. I think closer to November, December. So
yeah.
Man, this is getting a lot more fruity on the nose to me. I don't know about you guys. Almost going strawberry territory. Like strawberry jam.
Yeah, I'm starting to get into some pastries.
I was getting like a honey baked bread, but almost like a. Wow, you can really get in there. This is easy to pull through, but it's hard to discern all. It's like a lot of faint notes, like laying like right on top of each other, like a flaky pastry crust. Yeah. It's all like light on top of each other.
The way that I'm having to go through this thing and pull stuff out, it reminds me of my experience with Rua, where you just there's this density to the nose that you're like,
right.
You feel like you're just pulling back layer after layer after layer of different flavors on there, but it's still just very dense and compacted. It's really nice. I like the nose on this a lot.
This is like here's your fat guy tasting note: strawberry toaster strudel.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's.
I was gonna say, because I'm getting a lot less of the rye than what I was thinking I would get, even like in the baking spice area.
Right,
it's a lot less than that. When you went with that toaster strudel,
that's a lot toasted. Closer. Yeah, that toasted pastry kind of thing is coming on.
Becky makes a good rye.
The toasted part. I'm wondering if this is like just a number two char, but It seems like that just fades off, like the caramel, little bit of edge on the nose kind of fades off into that.
Right.
Nicely.
I'd be curious using the cherry wood and the sugar maple, what kind of toast or char they did on those.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's hop in here.
But
A little bit thicker than I thought. Ooh.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't even know what happened on the first half. The
Wow.
end is exciting. Oh, man, the way this opens up.
That's a lot of flavor for 92 proof.
And it is like hugging the edge of your tongue and like it's holding on. It's a little bit, it's drying on the sides. I'm salivating down the middle of my tongue and on the outside, but the outside edges are like just drying out, but like in a really neat kind of fruit way. But I feel like the first of them. Sorry, I haven't even get to like the first half of the flavors. The second half just was like,
man, fruit preserves, honey. There's tea. You get this big. There's ginger. Then you get this kind of a big, almost like a white pepper explosion going on in the background or on the back end of it. And the flavors feel like they just hit broad across the palate, like it's a broad stroke. It's not real concentrated or dense. I mean, it hits everywhere.
Yeah.
That's an excellent way to put it. It's almost like when it waves over and comes through, it's not like anything's different. Like your whole tongue is experiencing like that same level, that same viscosity, the flavors going all the way.
You know what it reminds me of, going back to Fat Guy Tasting Notes, is your Violet Beauregard, and you're having the gum that is the meal. It's like, and as you're drinking this, you're like, oh, I'm getting, oh, and it's this, oh, and it's this, and it just keeps evolving, and it's a real oily, creamy rye too, and it just really carries all the flavors over. God, this is really good.
Yeah, I think creamy is a great note for it.
Mm-hmm. I wish I had more of it, just because the front is it's got a lot of fruit. It's not an explosion, but like when I said that flaky layered thing, like if you think of it like that, like each little flake is like a pastry is overlapping when you bite down. You're going through a lot all at once, and that's what I think is going on here at the very like front third. Like that's the part like my tongue's having a hard time playing with, and I'm loving the finish.
Yeah, this is rich jammy fruits, and yeah, there you go, Ben Homan. Catoctin Creek Ragnarok Rye, collaboration with Gwar.
So taking a little sip of it and kind of holding it on my tongue and kind of moving it, it's like it stays together like in solid, and then just finally just bursts like a water balloon. So it's like this is really good. I enjoy this. I enjoy this a lot.
I think this is killer right at the proof point they've got, but it's still, I'm one of those like, man, what's this coming in at barrel strength?
Well, you're getting just enough right now. I'm thinking of like that little bit of heat notes on the side of your tongue where it's like tan, and a little bit, maybe higher up, that's a little bit thicker, and most of us would be okay with it. But
this feels like it could be an absolute bruiser at cast strength, like in a really good way.
In the way I would have thought the Gwar name would have gone after it, right? You know, like this is a little more, way more subtle and nuanced.
But I'm not complaining about the proof point.
I believe it's like, I think they went a little bit more this route, because I forget which one of the band members is really into wine, and they were kind of playing more towards his profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that between what you're saying, Ben, when you take this up to cast strength versus now, I think you can tell easily the difference with that. It is good done.
I think your best bet would be to go to the distillery, find out when they have it released, or go to a store around there, or go to the Gwar bar, because I want to go to the Gwar bar. Sure. Gwar has a bar called the Gwar bar.
And if you're an onophile, if you enjoy your wines, the flavor and the profile, this puts me in the mindset of a good Pinot Noir. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that's exactly what this reminds me of a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You get that little bit of green grape note right at the top, and then it starts layering off in the apricot, kind of blueberry, strawberry. Yeah, this is.
I'm not
really
going to
neat.
lie. I'm not looking forward to having something after this.
No.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, now I wish I would have had. Yeah, I could kill a bottle of that in the evening.
Yeah, this
We
would
should
be
have just had
fantastic.
Gwar night. We could have wore our costumes and stuff.
Well, we'll see if we can have them on. They
Talk
have to
about-
be having another release coming out soon.
There's going to have to be something somewhere.
All right. So
Mm.
now we're going to turn gears right into Atlanta, which usually is super, super
I
hot
don't want to turn gears.
to the point where it's not fun, but we're getting some tire fire going. Kind of Simpsons
Yeah.
style, burning for 20 years. I don't know if that's
You gotta-
accurate. Ooh, pull yourself up, Mike.
Make myself big.
He did it to himself, folks.
I did it to myself.
There's a word for that.
And
It's
on
called
camera.
lonely. Yeah. ASW.
Exactly.
And this
Yeah.
tire fire is aptly named.
It is.
Mm.
Now, I think with this one, they actually bring over the peated barley from Europe.
From
Right.
all it said was they come from the Inverness area, and my guess when I looked it up would be Tomatin, or somebody else is just doing it there. I don't know. They don't
Right.
really say.
Who's doing
but-
who's doing the malting?
Yeah.
But
going for a little more Scotch, obviously smoky peaty.
Mhm.
They said called it heavily peated, so I'm going to bring her up to the nose here.
this is I got several notes I can roll off for you guys
Oh.
here quickly.
Because I was in there too right now. So. And Ben leads off.
All right,
Oh,
so
yeah.
this is open up a can of kippered of smoked herring, kippered snack
Mhm.
kind of thing. That smoky fish nose. That's exactly what this is. I mean, even leaning towards anchovy territory. And then Mike and I were discussing this when we first poured this before we started. But for me, it immediately brings back a memory of the first time I bought a pair of jungle combat boots from the Army Navy store and opened the box, and that smell of the rubber outsoles, the way that smell hits. That's exactly
Yeah.
the way this hits at first. It's intense.
It's a whiff of a fish market, and then ashiness. And the other thing that comes up, like which we were talking about earlier, if you've ever been to a very old person's house who smoked, and they had an ashtray there that is older than God, and the way that ashtray smells from all of the years of that ashiness that's on there,
Because that ashtray has never been washed. It just gets dumped out.
no,
Right,
it
it's
just
raw.
it gets dumped out on the cat. That's it. Oh.
You do get
Yeah,
tire
if you-
fire. I like the insole part, like you said, of like the boot bend. That's
Yeah, that off-gassing rubber.
yeah, because it's tire fiery, but it's like that is like the beginning of it, and then you start getting that burnt edge a little bit after, which
Well, it's a
And
little bit
there's
too.
that-
Like if
for
you
me,
walked
it's
into
a
a
little-
tire store
yeah, but
where there's all the tires that are around you, you're just like it's just in the air and in everything that's in that whole thing. It's just
Almost bicycle tire.
I'm getting like a little bit of like a burnt end barbecue though.
But you get if you start to dig through some of that funk, you get to there's a sweet malt that underlays all of this, and it's
Yeah, I'm almost getting like a glazed barbecue.
almost chocolate malt territory.
Yeah, it's not caramel. But you get a little bit of that in there, but not the malt. I get what you mean by that. It is a little more chocolate malt, like 5-10%, I think.
God.
But I'm getting a really nice chocolate note off this.
So I poured because I also have the cast strength of the tire fire,
Oh,
and
fancy.
oh yeah, And the cast strength have seen a lot of love, but the cast strength, because I haven't never had them side by side. Believe it or not, I've had one, I've had the other, but the cast strength has a much sweeter nose.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine
There's
being
room
proofed
for
down
it.
a little bit, you're getting more of the more of those phenols are being released out.
Okay, I'm going in here.
Okay. I love this stuff.
So it's 100% Scottish malt. They don't break down what type of malts they're using in this. I mean, I'm not saying it is a chocolate malt per se, but it just has there's a little bit to it that reminds me of a chocolate malt.
You get on the taste, you'll see that too. It's in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Just
Just a buttery ash.
Oh, it is
That's
very
an
buttery.
excellent finish. It's buttery ash, but it's like it's hot on the sides.
It's like somebody ashed their cigar over a butter cookie.
Yes. Isn't that awesome?
It actually is.
It's so,
What's interesting is the fishy note. The fishy note that comes off on the nose does not really carry on the palate. I mean, I get a little bit of like if I have some anchovy on pizza or something like that. Yeah, there's a little bit of that there. There's a bit of a brininess to it, but but the flavor is more like like somebody ashed their cigar or cigarette over a butter cookie, and it's shortbread cookie or something, and then just there you go.
And it's lighter than what I was expecting, but it's just like this. When you thought tire fire, I was like, you get next to it, you get this overwhelm. It gets into you. This is almost like lighter, like you're smelling it from down the road. Like it's not heavy,
Right?
But it is nice. It does play in there.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for some other flavor notes because it was kind of just this nice honey wave and into some of the other stuff.
Yeah, and then there's like a little it's like a creaminess, another creamy one, but it's like a kind of like vanilla cream at the end.
Right.
But you just get that ash just carries through. If you like scotch, if you like peated scotch, you're gonna like this. If you're
a fan of Isla or Campbelltown, this is going to be right up your freaking alley.
And it's almost, and I don't want to call it entry, but it's not as abrasive as Lafroig, let's say, or an Ardbeg.
No.
Like I mean, you can see the step path to it, maybe like a Coloman level peatish. Like I'm trying to find something like peat level that's like comparable.
Right.
It's not overwhelming.
It's definitely more ashy than the others though.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's go find it. I know Sealbox has it. So if Sealbox will deliver to you, I know Sealbox has it.
They usually keep it pretty well stocked, so it's something that's typically pretty readily available.
Well, and it is a standard. I don't want to say standard, but it is more readily released thing that they do. You can see why. And like we said, the other stuff we've had from them, Maris Otter and a couple other ones have all been very solid. You know, everything. I mean, it's one of those things where if you're talking about places to go or stop, like you're getting added to the list because everything you're putting out that we taste is impressive. You know?
I've not had a single thing from ASW that I've ever been disappointed with or didn't like.
I agree.
On some level, everything has been well done. And I think one of the unique things about what they're doing, especially with a lot of the malt styles, they're distilling with the grain, which is not always traditionally done with single malts. Typically, a lot of times those are lagered. So kind of a bit of a unique step, unique process in that. But again, this just continues to like reaffirm how good, what a good job they're doing there. Cause I don't taste any faults. I don't find anything wrong with this at all. It's if you love smoke, you love ash, you love some peat notes going on. This is good. It's really good, and it's kind of unique. I mean, it's not. You can't sit here and say this is Kalila or this is Lafroig or this is like any other Scotch you've had necessarily. It stands on its own. It's just a unique profile.
Mm-hmm. I saw that too.
It's really well done,
and I'm happy to cheers to that.
Yeah. Cheers to the family.
Exactly. Whole family excitement there.
Congratulations. Call you the Grand Baroness now?
Mm-hmm.
How can you be a grandma? You're only 33.
You're right.
So I took a sip of the cask strength right after that. So the cask strength that I have, it's 56.3%. Carries the is sweeter on the nose, carries all the flavor, but then because of that proof, it gets dry and ashy. And then dissipates out and gets creamy after a long finish.
So the creaminess comes back on the finish. It's more the ash and everything hitting and drying out first.
Right.
Wood tannins and everything, snapping it down real quick. I think it's neat that you're getting the cream coming back on that.
And I think the chocolate too. Have
you had this with a cigar yet, Mike?
I had the normal one, yes, but it was with a Gurkha, so
okay,
kind of like having white bread and vanilla ice cream with your dinner.
I didn't know how bold you'd want to go with it, though.
Right.
Like you don't want to. I don't know. I would want the ash to keep coming through. I mean, I know you're going to get it off the cigar, but.
No, I just love to see how this would contrast with the cigar. What the smoke, what you get from the cigar, what that tends to do with in interplaying with the whiskey like this. If it's going to take away some of that ash note and then bring out more of the malt character for you, that's what I would be curious to explore a little bit. I mean, not that you want to get rid of that or do that necessarily, but sometimes it's kind of fun to get below those layers and dive into the actual malt itself, the fruit notes and the flavors that might start to come forward on that.
What I really like to do is try both of these with a really nice rare steak.
Straight rare. Blood just pulsing out of it.
Just a little, just slap it on the ass when you walk the cow by.
I'll take a. I'd love to sit down with a couple dozen raw oysters.
Oh,
that
would be really good. Yeah,
that would be.
We may have to arrange a meal. We'll bring these over your direction, and
that might be something we have to do.
I think we could do that.
Yeah, and I think this, what we're just having now, would qualify for the smoke show if we have that, because I at some point I want to have like a tasting of American smoky whiskeys or ones that are surprising in that nature, and almost have an award out of that, because I think that's probably the way an American single malt. I mean, when you're playing into that edge, especially if the prices go up to play in there, and there's some fantastic smoky stuff out there.
I'd have to really go back through everything, but off the cuff here, I'd say of peated American single malts or peated American whiskeys I've had, easily top 3. Yeah. This is totally a top 3 whiskey. And much better done. Words hard. It is whiskey better than at least 2 things that I've had from the other coast of the United States.
Okay.
In the peated realm, right? Is that what we're
talking about? And peated American single malt. Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, I think that's a whole different excitement. And maybe that's something we could go to, crowdsource or go to like a group sampling, like a test kit for the smoke show. See what the public has to say about it.
Yeah.
So kind of finishing off on this one, there is some development because the nose for me now, there's a little bit more fruit coming forward, and it's starting to turn into like smoked peaches. If you've ever had smoked peaches.
Okay. I could see that.
Yeah.
Just with the sweetness of the fruit.
Yeah. I'm getting the edge of like a peach. I'm just all the fruit flavors in this are kind of light and mellow and rounded.
Right.
And I was sticking my nose in the other glass again, so I was getting back to some of the other fruits. It screwed me up. God, that was lovely. All right, I don't know.
Man, these are two kick-ass whiskeys tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
Yeah, on fire.
Yeah, totally opposite.
Right.
The one, I mean, even though the name, two names, Ragnarok Rye and Tire Fire. And which one is the much more beautiful, sexy one? Gwar. Bless you.
Right.
But Tire Fire is very, very well named. It is. Yeah.
And it's quality. Both, like you said, both extremely solid things coming from the south. Another two places we liked, but continuing to put out quality stuff, and that's what we like to see when we're going back. We're getting to taste something again. It's not just, oh my God, these guys surprised us and we're great once. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like all of a sudden the light bulb should be going on for everyone out there.
Yep.
Pay attention to them.
So, who has sacrificed a little bit for a blend?
Fuck you. No, I have just this little bit left of the Gwar.
I know, that's just it. It's a tiny blend.
Hey Eli, how's it going, buddy? You're in the south. We might have to tap him for that our next Ragnarok Rye.
You want to tap Eli?
I'll tap him for that. I'll tap him for that. Yeah. We'll put him to work. I'll tap him.
Yeah, we need a Catoctin Creek Ragnarok Rye mule.
I need to get down to Atlanta soon at some point.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that one is fantastic. All right. I have
on the nose. This is a great marriage of the two on the nose. It's all the good parts of both of them.
Okay, I'm getting that too. It's surprising how much the cherry wood's coming through for me. Actually, now when you're putting them together through the smoke,
I like the palate, but it comes through a little flat until you get to the back end, and then the rye really starts to take over. But it comes across a little flat to me.
Yeah, like
I totally get that
creaminess, and it went to like flats. Like it was almost a cream soda that was left out for 2 days. Like it lost the punch. It was a little bit of a letdown. I think they were both better on their own, but still a very nice blending compared to other nights of blends that we've had together. But yeah, I wouldn't blend them. I'd keep them separate. These two are actually really nice. Excellent.
Yes, go find them.
And let's see here. We got Ben's picking on what we're reviewing next week. We're going to be talking to Fred and Adam about Distill America coming up sometime in February. They're getting that nailed down on a date, so we'll be discussing the May 14th.
the most popular date in spirits, apparently.
Yeah.
Most popular weekend.
That's the most popular weekend in general. It's ridiculous. Yeah. There's like 4 other bands that are all playing that weekend, like 4 spirits festivals throughout the U.S. And I have
graduations.
Apparently some weddings, a bass show that we tournament we have to go to. All these things that weekend. But we're going to have them on. We're going to talk about that. And then there's a couple other places we have coming up. We're working on getting Mitch on. We have some J. Henry. We're going to have Mitch on. We're going to work that out. Have a little discussion about stuff and what the flavors go on there between those two kind of special releases.
All right. What? I hope you'll be spending it at Distill America.
Now I kind of want to go. They should have a little special like thing for them right mid show.
They should.
We'll spotlight on that and the best whiskey couple there. All right, but I want to thank everyone for stopping tonight's show. If you still got time, hop over to Whiskey Crusaders. Ooh, next week they're having a really neat show. They are going to be doing Battle of American Single Malts, kind of four, one from each kind of different section of the area. So I think Westland, Balcones, I forget who the other one is, and they were talking to maybe having the Doc Wall we had, because they got a batch later. Just something from the Midwest coming from maybe Hatch, and kind of having a little four-way showdown. And I was like, that's kind of interesting, especially with the different types of malts or grains that people are using. So they'll be doing that. I think that is on the 7th or 8th. I think it was the 8th is when they're doing that. So
8th, so Tuesday.
Tuesday, a little bit different, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay.
So, all right, folks, you ready to shut her down?
We can shut her down.
All right. Well, until next time, remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone out there.
Cheers.
Ben's got the really sexy looking glass. Did you see that one?
Always.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get the